from Malcolm. And we talked about that last night.
Oh, yeah. I was going to ask if you'd heard from him.
No, I uploaded the video a week ago. Malcolm Kenyatta is running for the open U.S. Senate seat in Pennsylvania in 2022.
First message I got was about half an hour after the video went up.
Nice.
And his rep messaged me and we talked for a minute. The next day he said, okay, great. So give me your phone number and tell me when good times are. So it could be today, it could be a week from now, or it might not ever happen. But I was excited. I'm going to try to rope him into talking to me on Zoom because I really want to.
He's somebody I've been following on Twitter for a long time and, kind of chatting with periodically. But yeah, he was one of the delegates. So if you go back and look at the Democratic convention, I think he was one of the people who actually spoke.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. I only knew the name and I knew he had been endorsed by Pete. So by the time I had heard he was running for this, I honestly didn't know anything about him. I'm like, oh, you're 30 years old. This is one of your, I'm going to run for this just to make a name and I'm not going to win, but it's my way to the national stage. Then I checked him out and I thought, oh, no, I've got it all wrong. You are ready to go now. So why wait?
Yeah, he's there. He's basically, we're looking at Barack Obama back in the day. This is somebody who, he's really smart. And well, as you've seen, he I don't know, he stands out. He stands out.
I watched some of his videos and I saw, as I was researching him, and I saw he was outraged quite a lot. If you YouTube Malcolm Kenyatta, you're going to see a lot of outrage in different meetings. And I was writing about him and I reached out to my friend Chris, who's African-American. And I said, what do you think of Malcolm Kenyatta? And he said, I love him. I think he's an up and comer. He's going to have a big career. And I said, yeah, I really like him too. He's in a very Democratic district where you're free to be a little bit more outraged and upset and ruffle feathers because you're probably going to get reelected. I said, but do you think that would work at a Senate level when it's just, you're representing the whole state? You have to work with people, And he stopped me and he just said, you're talking about respectability politics. And that doesn't work for Black people because wherever we are, they'll just move the line so that we're on the other side of it.
Right.
Wow. I'm like, okay, that's not even an opinion. That's the answer I'm going to take and go with because that sounds right to me.
That's the kind of thing we need to understand. That's the kind of thing. So we need somebody like Malcolm, you interviewing him and talking about those sorts of things because we don't even understand what that is like. Like there's not much he doesn't talk about, at least on Twitter, So and I think that's really good because guess what? We're all talking about these things. A lot of people aren't using their out loud voices, right? And especially those of us who don't know because we're white and we have this bubble privilege situation going on. Like we just don't even have a clue, that you can be too loud or too angry, right? And that's bad. And it's kind of like what like Michelle talks about. Actually, Barack talks about it too in his book about walking this fine line. You don't want to be an angry Black man. You don't want to be, this angry Black woman. That's all bad. And yet white bitches go around all the time, right? Karening all over the country.
Karening. Yeah, it's true. But also you can cross that line too as a white person. I think Marjorie Taylor Greene is finding this out. You can't just be an annoying fucking pain in the ass every day because everyone is going to get tired of you.
It's interesting. You wonder, what is the line with them? What is the line whereby they're going to say, this bitch has gone too far, and evidently she's about there because people, and actually your friend in Florida too, you notice he has no friends anymore.
MATT GAETZ.
Yeah. People are like peeling off him like his communications director quit or whatever.
And yes, quit on principle or I don't know what the statement was.
He knew all these things were happening.
Of course he knew. And I think there's two things going on here. One, MATT GAETZ is a son of a bitch. And Marjorie Taylor Greene, I can't say it, but you used the word a moment ago. She's a
bitch.
Okay, thank you. And so number one, you're just exhausted being around that if you're in the party. It's like, God, just shut up. Go bug those people, But I have to like you because you're getting a lot of attention and Trump likes you. But then that's a double-edged sword, because I'm also very jealous of you because you're getting that attention. So the minute you get taken down by something, it benefits me to pile on and get rid of you so that maybe I can get a little attention as a Republican and get on television and get some interviews and build a name for myself. So, you know, they'll eat each other alive. And, you know, because Gaetz is in such a conservative district in Florida, I think he can survive this unless there's an indictment or there's some sort of like video or something. These allegations are not going to be enough to get Matt Gaetz.
I don't know.
There's going to have to be more, I believe, than what we've already got. That's my take. I think he's a roach.
I think the sex trafficking, I think he's going to go down. I think the sex trafficking thing is going to take him down. I think the fact that Bill Barr started investigating him, that speaks volumes, because what kind of bad stuff do we not even know about yet? Must there be in order for Bill Barr to do that? It has to be a lot.
Well, what are we waiting on then? Like, if Gaetz is going to resign, what's he waiting for?
I think he wants to make sure that he can't skate out of this, you know. He's from Dynasty. He's hoping still to be able to skate through this.
This is what I'm saying. I think there's a chance he can skate through it too.
He's hoping that he can distract with all the stories of all the other women, which we don't give a shit. He's a grown-ass adult. He can have as much sex as he wants with as many women as he wants. I don't give a fat rat's ass. But, you know, and also the sex trafficking thing. I mean, he was the lone person to not vote for that. I mean, okay, that had to raise some eyebrows then, except, you know what? I think a lot of these people knew. And have you heard Rachel Maddow go through the timeline for this?
No.
Oh, you have to do that, because it doesn't start with him. She starts the story with a completely different individual. And it's pretty, you know how only she can do, where she talks, the first 10 minutes are about somebody else altogether. And then boom, I mean, it's compelling as fuck. Like, she just boom. And then you're like, I didn't see that coming.
Yes, she's very good.
She's good at it. And there are more people. So yeah, it's the guy with the photocopying and the IDs.
Yeah, Joel Greenberg.
Yeah.
All those IDs, Matt's involved in that too. So that's yet another thing. And it's a big thing. I think it's going to be bigger than we know.
I just have to say, in terms of all of the sex that he's having with these underage girls or not, that dude is a double bagger. I mean, I would suddenly be into so much role play if I had to have sex with Matt Gaetz, so that I could just pull out masks and bags and hoods and anything. I mean, he is just, I couldn't even hate fuck that guy. He is so just appalling. I'm sorry.
You know, it's kind of one of those things where he's just entitled and he thinks he can get away with shit. He's a privileged white boy who, you know, thinks he's got a pretty face and can get away with stuff. I know.
Does he think he's got a pretty, does Matt Gaetz really look in the mirror and say, I have got it going on?
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. And you know how you know? Because he's a hairdo. That's how.
Hey, the hair, he's got good flow. I got to say, the hair on some days looks really good. And he lost a bunch of weight too. I mean, there's nothing you can do about that upside down mouth. Talk about Mr. Potato Head and putting the pieces in wrong. That's why I say, bring a paper bag when you're going to have sex with Matt Gaetz. Bring a pillowcase. Well, hopefully
Can't even.